Ready.
Okay, perfect. We're already recording.
Oh, right.
As I've been sitting here shoveling McDonald's fries.
Technical difficulties and McDonald's. Hi, everybody.
Hello, welcome back to the Girls Who Get It podcast. I'm Groucho Marx, if you're watching the video. Is that his name?
I don't know, but those brows.
Yeah, I got my brows laminated and tinted earlier today, and they look crazy. But they always look crazy the first day. My coworker did them, and she did them for me a few months back, and I was obsessed. So I know they'll be good tomorrow after I can
Tomorrow.
wash my face. So right now they
At
look
least-
crazy, and I worked a full shift at work, and each client I was like, "Hi, I'm Sam. Please ignore my brows. I don't normally look like this.
Oh
I
my
didn't
God,
do
that's
this on
funny.
purpose." I just feel like they look. I don't even know if on camera it's like doing it justice. When I look in the mirror, like they look aggressive.
I mean, they're there.
They are full, but like it's crazy how fluffy they get.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to try it, but I might try like an at-home.
Yeah, I gave myself an at-home lash lift and tint last night.
Ooh,
No mascara, all natural lashes.
nice. I've been missing my extensions. I try to remember how annoyed I would get having to go so often. So
That's the thing. Like, not only is it expensive, but it's like every 2 weeks you have to be laying there for like at least an hour. And
it's the
it's
most,
so time consuming.
yeah, it's the most maintenance and the most like boring.
Uh-huh.
It sucks.
Because it's not like when you're getting your hair done and you can like do other things while you're sitting there. You have to just lay perfectly still with your eyes shut.
Yep.
Sorry, by the
I
way, that
don't
I'm
miss it.
eating.
We understand.
It was a crazy day. I went to work and got my brows done. Then I got my nails done, which God bless that I got white nails and managed to not stain them immediately
Wow.
afterwards. And then I had a color correction, which I thought that I was taking the safe, easy route. She sent in pictures. We did a little consultation through text. I was like, okay, first appointment, I think that we should just do a color, like a clarifying color remover. I'll do a test strand and we'll see what happens from there. But I'm not gonna like bleach you or try to do anything crazy. Like the first appointment, we're just gonna see like what might be possible and then we'll figure out a game plan from there. So I'm thinking, perfect, I'm not doing any color. It's gonna be easy, in and out, smooth day. And then I had a haircut coming in after her and I was like, boom, easy. Um her hair, I don't know if the pictures that she sent me like just it looked different in the lighting or what. I thought that her hair, she had gotten like a red color on it, and I thought that it was mostly faded, and she said she wanted to be blonde. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know, we'll see. Well, when she came in, I'm holding up a picture. If you're watching the video, she had, I don't know if you can see that, but she has her natural root, which is very, very dark, then this like reddish pink color, then a band, then another band, and then another band on the ends.
That is a color correction, all right.
That's what the back looks like. This is the front. Look at her like money pieces.
Oh my.
So
What
there was
happened?
yeah, if you're not watching the video version, there's a lot happening here. So she has like two thick chunks in the front that were bleached super blonde, and I guess they put a pink or some kind of red on top of it, and it washed out pretty much completely on the ends. But then there's like, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 inches where it was like a bright pink, and then she had her dark root, and I was like, oh my God. So I did a clarifying treatment. I was like, I'm just gonna say a prayer and see what happens. And it faded it a decent amount, but like that pink was, or red, whatever it was so stubborn. And she said she
Where
got
did
this done in a salon.
I was gonna ask, like, this was a professional,
Yep, and
um,
I believe her because she was telling me the full story and all the details, so I really believe that she did get it done at a salon. And I
I
don't know
mean,
what the hell they used, but, like, the bleached parts in the front were so porous, it would not hold any color that I tried to put on it, and the pinkish red would not come out. It also would not cover. So I did like so many different things. I was trying to do toners to try and just like get an even base because, and then the test strand, it was like just completely snapping. So I was like, okay, well, we're not bleaching your hair. Blonde is going to be out of the question for now.
yeah.
We'll just do a not like she just wanted something natural, flattering, low maintenance, whatever. So I was like, okay, let's do like a chocolate brown. I did two different colors, let it sit and process a full amount of time, didn't do a single thing, would not budge. Because I was like, well, I'm not going to fight the warmth. Let me do some copper. Like, I can give her a color kind of like mine.
Yeah.
Didn't do shit. It looked exactly the same after two different rounds of different colors. So then I was like, I'm going to have to just blow dry it and do permanent color because like that's the only other thing I can think of to try. Like I don't know what else.
Yeah.
But then at this point, my haircut got there. And so I'm like, what the fuck do I do? I don't have an assistant. Like I don't have anybody that can help me. And so I was running behind on the haircut. I had to have the color correction girl just sit there, wait for me to finish this entire haircut.
Yeah.
I felt so bad. She was there
Well,
for so long, but luckily, both my clients were super nice. They were very understanding, so it was fine. But it was just a very stressful day, and
yeah.
I ended up being there a lot longer than I was anticipating. And then, so I stopped and got McDonald's on my way home because I was like, I don't have anything that I can heat up quickly, and I am certainly not going to be cooking dinner
No.
at this hour. So, and then I came home, and normally Benny comes out and he greets me, especially if I have food. He wasn't coming out. So I'm like going to my room to change, and I see him in the guest bedroom laying on his bed, and I just see like the back of him, and he's not moving. And I'm calling him, I'm like, not moving, not wagging his tail, nothing. I'm like, tell me my dog is dead.
What the heck?
But he was just laying there, like waiting for me to come in the room. I don't know. I don't know what that was about. He's fine, but that gave me a panic attack. I was like, my stress levels right now.
Can't
So
handle.
I need
Yeah.
to decompress.
Now is the perfect time to decompress.
Yes, yes. I'm looking forward to this chat.
We have much to talk about. Perfect way to just forget all the other things that happened today and
Mm-hmm.
focus on what's important. The topic of this episode, Love is Blind, Season 6. So far.
Yes. Right, right. So by the time this episode will be up on Friday, I think they're really those are the last few episodes, right?
I don't know. I don't know how Netflix does it now, if there's like two more sets or one more set of episodes. I wish they would just release them all like they used to.
True. Well, and they usually do a reunion too, right? Or like
Yeah,
a
like last
tell
time
all kind of thing.
yeah. So, I don't know how they're gonna do it, but by the time this is out, there's gonna be a new episode drop.
Right, which we're recording this on a Tuesday, so as of right now, we only saw the first two drops. So if you're not
Yeah.
caught up on the latest episodes, don't worry, neither are we. There won't be any spoilers.
No spoilers like from the episodes getting released on February 28th. Spoilers though from the episodes released before then, in case you
Right,
haven't got
so
all the way up.
originally, like I skipped around. I didn't watch like all the stuff from in the pods because I
That
find
was
that
getting boring. Yeah.
boring. But yesterday, I went back to episode 1 and I watched the pod episodes all the way through. So now I've seen all of it.
Oh, because there was
So
some
I'm ready to
parts.
discuss.
Okay, yeah, there were some parts in the pods where I was like, "What?
Yeah,
What the
I'm
hell?"
honestly, I kind of like the way that I did it because when you're watching the pod episodes in the beginning, you don't know who all these people are. You don't know who ends up with who. So you're just like, oh, what, okay, whatever. But I think knowing who was going to choose who, it made it a little more
Right.
interesting. And I was able to like follow along a little more. And like, I knew what things were significant and what wasn't, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Well, now I'm annoyed because tomorrow they are releasing 2 episodes. March
Hmm.
6th, they're releasing another one, and then March 13th is the reunion.
They gotta,
I can't
keep waiting and talking about it for as long as they can.
I cannot stand how they do this now. It is so, so annoying. But yeah, so for Love is Blind, I took notes. I didn't want to forget
Oh,
anything just
I
in
love that.
case I
Okay, we'll
forget.
use your notes as our outline.
And I kind of grouped it by couple, kind of,
Mm,
like ish. But maybe since you just watched the pods, you might bring something up that I kind of forgot.
yeah, I
I
want
want
to talk
to.
about Matthew.
He's like right up top, right on top of the
Perfect.
list. After my first initial thoughts, which are how bad and awful and terrible all these men are, like every single one ended up being so much worse than I expected. And I mean like the ones that make it through the pods to engagement.
Yeah.
They make Bartice look good.
Oh, I only watched season 1 and 2.
Well, for those of us that have watched season 3, he was awful and you didn't think it could get worse. And then there's these guys, and they're worse. Let's start with Matthew. I was pretty confused because they really were only showing him and AD.
Mhm.
Like, unless I missed something, unless I zoned out and, like, didn't see. But then him and AD, things start to kind of fall apart, and he's like ending it with her, and then he's going to get Amber. Amber who? Like, what is he
Mhm.
talking about? Where'd that come from?
I agree. The way they edited it was a little weird.
It was
Like
bad.
they cut a lot of stuff out. Yeah.
I understand they have to like fit a lot in, but that was just very confusing. And if you're gonna have all these, like, just have more episodes and release more episodes and people will watch. But like, that was very random to me. I was like, I didn't even realize him and Amber were like that. Then I see something, TikTok has all like the tea and the spoilers about this stuff. But I guess Amber had a boyfriend the whole time, and it was
Mhm.
their agreement that she would go on the show and she would just like do it for, I guess, fame, because
The
I don't
clout.
consider any clout is better because these people aren't
Mhm.
famous. That's what they need to understand. They're not famous. Anyway, yeah, so they had an agreement. She was not going to get engaged. That she knew that from the start. And then so when she goes to leave, she's like, I have to go, which seemed really random
Mm,
too. I was like, what? And then I see that. So that kind of checked out.
that makes sense. Listen, I'm not going to judge her for that because I think it's a genius move. Is it
She
a dream of
tried.
mine to be on Love Island? Yes.
Oh,
Would I still
yes.
go on it even now that I'm in a relationship again? Yes.
Yes. I just like it's not I wouldn't see it as worth it. Like I can't even remember her face. So it really
Yeah.
didn't do what she thought it was gonna do. I'm kind of surprised they left Matthew in because I could have done without completely. Unless he like comes back in a weird way. But I don't really understand the point of that besides he had like a different personality and he wasn't like this bubbly, like type of guy. Some people are saying he's giving serial killer. Uh,
I could see that.
I could maybe see that.
For him to come in and have these questions, that's fine. I would probably do the same thing. That's a great
Oh,
idea.
yeah.
He had these questions. Oh, pick a number. I'll ask you the question. And then I forget what girl it was or what the question was, but then she was like, asked him the same thing back. And he was just like, well, I'm not going to answer them. Like, these
Like,
weren't
wha-
for me to answer. These were for me to ask. Like, well, how are people supposed to get to know you? Like, what is
right.
this?
Like
Are you
that
you're just doing an interview?
apparently.
And then which who knows how real that is? It could have just been edited. Maybe he was purposely just doing it to be a dick and stand out. But like when he would just walk out, they would start talking, and he wouldn't even like they'd be like mid sentence, and he would just get up and leave unannounced. I mean, who knows
I
how
don't
real that was? But I was like, is he for real?
I don't know what his problem was. I was left pretty confused by the whole thing. Him and AD, him and Amber,
He
him
just
in
seemed very
general.
pompous to me. Like he just gave off like, I think I'm smarter than everyone else, and if you don't say exactly what I'm looking for, or you don't sound intellectual enough for me right off the bat, then I'm not even interested.
I feel like him and Laura could have been like a decent fit. No?
Maybe she's kind of a bitch.
She's a little uptight, I think. We'll get to her later.
A little. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do think,
Ugh.
speaking of Matthew, still, I think that the whole thing with him and AD was interesting because when she later on is like bringing up this conversation with Kenneth, was that his name? The principal that was with the
Oh
teacher,
yeah, 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 that's
how she
Ken.
brought up the whole conversation about race and like,
Yeah.
him being in an interracial relationship and her being like making it a big deal that he's partnered up with a white woman. Oh, is she going to
Yeah.
be comfortable or know how to raise black children?
Yeah.
Totally fair and valid, but it's interesting how she was ready to be engaged to a guy that she could tell was white.
Right. And she brought up, I remember her asking like if race was like a she brought it up. Like if it
Right, like
mattered to
an
him or
issue. Right, but she didn't
yeah.
ask, like, at least from what we saw, have you ever dated out of your own race? How would you feel
Right.
about having interracial children,
Right.
mixed race children,
She is
whatever?
yeah. Cause that yeah, I
So
mean,
that felt a little hypocritical to me, but
I
again, like
agree.
I try to not judge them like too harshly on specifics like that because that could come down to editing. I mean, I don't know.
That's true. But no, it's a fair point because like if she wasn't going to bring it up until they're, in Mexico or whatever, like how she was bringing it up to Kenneth, like, and
And
Brittany, who
that
I guess didn't talk about it before either.
right, and it didn't seem like it was even a factor or because hello, I'm sorry, you can tell from Brittany's voice that she's a white girl, and you can tell from Kenneth's voice that he is a black man. You can
It's
tell,
a
and they seemed to know that and didn't seem to be surprised. And I think from what they said, it sounds like that is her typical type. She always dates black men, so it was didn't seem to be an issue for them until AD said something. And then all of a
yeah.
sudden, and again, that could be because of how they edited it, but it seemed like all of a sudden then he was like feeling self-conscious kind of and like questioning
S- Yeah, like
them.
self-conscious, but I also kind of I mean, we can go ahead and get right into Ken and Brittany because there's more to talk about than I initially thought there would be. I thought they were going to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Ken, I feel like he was using the conversation with AD. He was using the fact that Brittany then brought up, like, I don't feel this, like, did she say, like, attraction or just, like, the connection? He takes what these people what someone else is saying, and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, like, you're right. This is a problem." And he's using it as a way to, like, get out of being with Britney, I think in multiple instances, like, when they're breaking up, for instance,
Right.
and she's trying to, and you can see him doing this, like, on the boat when they're just, like, the silence that went on for so long until he sees a dolphin. I was like, "You guys have nothing to talk about?"
Yeah, it was very awkward, very
And I feel
awkward.
like they did it on purpose, they left that silence in.
Right, of course.
You're new to each other, how are you not talking about, like, the experience or just, like, anything? And so he's just sitting there like fucking bump on a log, like, boring, and he does it, I feel like in the pods, maybe you can, like, shed more light on it because you just watched the pods. I feel like he was more energetic and more into it and more upbeat than he
Yeah,
was later on.
I agree. I feel like they didn't show them that much in the pods, though. But, yeah, it was like he just became a completely different person after they left the pods, which is
Yeah.
interesting, and it was funny to me when they were on the boat and how he was she was saying how she's a touchy person, and he was like, "Oh, I'm really touchy. I was scared that you were gonna think I was too touchy. I'm always told I'm too touchy." And I'm like, "Bro, you haven't touched her once.
Where?
What are you talking
Where?
about? Like, you're literally just laying there, like, not being affectionate at all."
She might as well be your, like, grandma the way he acts. Like, I don't get it.
It was very uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable, and then she brings up, like, once they move in together and stuff, I can't remember if it comes up before then or not, how he's just like, Ken is giving nothing. He's, like, literally get like,
There's nothing there. Just on his phone the whole time.
on his phone fucking, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I would be the same as Brittany, I'd be like, "What the hell?" I'd be confused because
Right,
this is not the person that I, um, like, matched within the cubes
right.
or pods, cubes,
Like,
pods.
how did they even right, like, how did you match at all? Like, how did you get anything out of him that you
Exactly.
guys even like, paired up together? I don't understand. He was yeah, literally just a blank wall.
There was obviously a switch because she probably would've been like, "This guy's fucking boring, like, bye," if he
Right,
was like that in the pods. So you obviously there's an obvious switch, and then she's coming to you saying like, "Hey, I don't feel, like, as connected to you, I feel like she didn't come at it like, "I'm trying to break up." I think she came at it like, "Can we, like, figure this out? Why is this happening? What's going on? Do you feel the same?" Because he is so
mhm, yeah, give nothing.
non-reactive, he's giving nothing, again, and if that were me, or if I were in that relationship and he was giving nothing, I would be confused and I would probably be not as interested in making any type of first move, because why would you? Like, if he's just there like, "Woah."
Right, you're getting nothing in return. It's like it's a form of rejection.
Right, so then she's like, "Oh, I feel this way," and he's like, "Yeah, if you aren't feeling it, then we should just stop." And it's like he makes it her, like, decision when I thought maybe I misinterpreted or I misread. I thought she was coming to him like, "What's going on?" Not, "We're done." And then he was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, no, you're right, we're done."
I think from what I remember, I think there was at least 1, maybe 2 conversations they showed where she was, like, trying to address, like, "Hey, what's going on?" But then the last one where they were like, "Okay, let's break up," that to me felt more like she was saying, like, "Okay, like, this is clearly not working." I really like Britney, though. I feel like she's very mature, especially for her age.
I agree. I feel like she's probably the best, like, woman. on the show, on the season, just because of how she handled that. Because I can't say I would have handled that with that much, like, grace. I would have been like, "You're fucking you got me fucked up." Like,
I know.
he was driving me crazy,
Me too.
and,
Very frustrating. It's like you
like,
just wanna
you
shake him, like, "Hello, is there anyone in there?"
literally, I was like, "This is the worst." Like, I felt bad for her. I don't feel bad for him unless we missed, like, a ton of editing. I know he said that, like, he tried to make a move or whatever. I'm sorry. I don't tend to, like, believe him
Well, he
because of
also
how
said they said it was, like, at 1 in the morning. She was, like, in bed asleep, and he was just getting home or something, I think, is what they had said. And he was like, "You I was trying to
so,
love on you, and you weren't feeling it," like, because she was asleep.
if I wake up out of a dead sleep, chances are I don't care what you're trying to do.
And if you're
Like,
coming home late at night, like, he might have been out drinking. Like, if you're in bed asleep and this guy comes home in the middle of the night drunk, and now all of a sudden, after giving you nothing and not being affectionate, all of a sudden now he's trying to kiss up on you. No, I'd be like,
no.
"Mm,
That doesn't
I'm
feel
sleeping."
good. No, that doesn't feel
Right.
good either. So, like, he's done. In my no, like, he can fuck off. I don't
Yeah,
care about the editing really. You can just see it. Like, there had to be
that's
a
true.
lot of editing against him to make him look that bad if he weren't actually that bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Who
And
I
I
mean,
I feel like it's disappointing because I at first, like when they first came out of the pods, I liked him and I liked them as a couple. I thought like, "Oh, they might actually work out." Like they both
I
seem really
know.
sweet and he's just like an adorable teddy bear,
I
but
thought that for sure. I thought they were on
apparently
the
not.
same page about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I do wanna ask you one thing. She says she's a virgin,
Oh,
which sh
she said that?
or she's waiting for marriage. So, whatever that is, whatever that
Oh.
means. He never says he's been waiting for, but he was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I'm cool with that, I'm good with that."
Mhm.
So I'm like, but he was never like, "I'm waiting as well."
Mhm.
So it just makes me wonder, like, if he really was the kind of person like he was posing as, maybe, like, in the pods versus in real life. I don't know.
I mean, true, but like you're cool with waiting 2 weeks? Like
Right, like 4
I
yeah, like, it's
like
not long.
when Amy and Johnny were like, "We're waiting for marriage." I'm like, "Oh, how
Is that what they
you guys are
said?
you guys are so strong.
Yeah,
Wow.
like, please.
Amazing. So
Is that what
virtuous."
they said?
I'm
They were
pretty
waiting?
sure. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Well,
I thought
because
they were
also I mean, I don't wanna get too ahead of it, but there's also the whole issue with the birth control and
oh, I know. That's on my
that
list.
yeah, because that took Johnny from, like, a high ranking to, like, a for me, personally.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely in the same boat. I remember I was telling my coworker who was watching it, with his wife, and I was like, "Oh, Johnny seems, like, good," because this was before, I was kinda
Mhm.
slowly watching the episodes, and he was like, "Uh, I won't tell you." Like, "I won't tell you what happens," and I was like, "Oh god." And,
Mhm.
yeah, no, I'm right there with you because, like, he seems to have such like, he feels really strongly about this whole birth control. He feels really strongly about no kids until he's financially stable. That's great. That's really
Mhm.
great, and you should do that if, you're in the position to. He brings it up as if there's nothing he can do about it on his end.
Right.
Like, he brings it up, what, twice? Like, they're in the woods one time, right? Or am I aren't they?
Yeah, yeah,
I th
maybe. I can't remember, but I know there was definitely the time where they were, like, inside in their apartment, I think.
yeah, and she goes, "You don't have to tell me." She goes, "It messes with my hormones. I'm
Mhm.
anemic. I'm not taking it for these reasons. And she
Right.
hasn't been taking it. And that's her right to like make that
And
choice.
good for her for the willpower and for not being like, "Okay, you want me to get on it?
Like
I'll
I
get on
guess
it."
I could no, I feel like she did what everyone should really do if you really have issues with the hormonal birth control is crazy. And so I don't want an IUD. That scares me. Like there's things about it. It's not as easy as
Mhm.
I'll get on it. What do the kids say now? She's standing on business and she's like, I don't take birth control. Um and if kids happen, they happen, we can make it work, like and he's very much not wanting that. That's fine.
Mhm.
But and then Amy brings up like, "Well, you can get a vasectomy." And he's
Mhm.
like, "Mm,
Right, like, if it's that big of a deal to you, go do that or, like, wear a condom.
like if you feel as strongly as he seems to about having waiting for kids until he's ready, you literally have the power to do that by getting a
Right.
vasectomy." But women's bodies are the only ones that should
And
be
I'm sorry, but
altered.
he's being really irresponsible too because he's just been going through life sleeping with women, assuming they're on the pill.
Oh, which they do. Like, they don't ask.
Right, like and I mean, even if he does ask, you don't know if they're telling the truth or not.
Or if they're, like, taking it
Taking
correctly.
exactly, exactly.
So, if you feel that strongly, you should go ahead and get yourself a vasectomy. He
Yeah.
pissed me off. I thought he was, like, decent. I do find him a little annoying. That's just me. Like,
Mhm.
my personality would not pair
100
well with him.
100%. Same, same. He is a little annoying and he's, like, a little dorky, like, I don't know, it's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, he's cute, I guess," but, like, I could never be, like, attracted to that type of personality. He's not compatible with either of us.
No, no, definitely not. But it's not about us. They
Right, like,
seem
but
to,
that's not
like
to say he's a bad person, but the birth control thing definitely rubbed me the wrong way, and
100%.
I don't know, but I do really like Amy.
Amy seems cool. I will say one thing about Amy. She goes on this show called Love is Blind, where I think they're explained like, hey, you might get engaged and then married. Like that's the whole show. I think they're
Mhm.
explained that like premise
Well,
before
I
they
mean,
sign up.
also, it's like it's not like this is the first season and it's a brand new show, brand new concept, like,
Right.
presumably, if you're signing up to be on it, you're familiar at least.
I would think. And if yeah, I would assume you've at least heard of it. So she tells Johnny, "Hey, before I came on here, my dad wasn't a fan of the idea,
Mhm.
and if we don't get his blessing, I can't marry you." But you knew going into this show that like it would end in potentially a wedding and marriage, and you also knew your dad didn't approve of what you were doing.
Right.
So why did you even go through with it if his approval meant so much to you?
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how, like, realistic that is if she was just kinda saying that to, like, add a little level of drama.
Yeah, I don't know. That was interesting to me too. Do you want to talk about Chelsea and Jimmy, or do you want to talk about Clay and AD?
Do you have a lot to say about Clay and AD?
Just this.
Okay.
I don't know why Clay is saying, I feel like he said it multiple times. First of all, I probably would have been done with him in the pods when he was like, I can't marry if I don't know what you look like. Why are you on the
Mhm.
show? Get off the show then. Are you
Right.
dumb? Then he keeps saying he doesn't know if he can be faithful he doesn't know if he can be in like a marriage like w- w- as if cheating is just like, well, what is he gonna do if he just like he has to cheat? Like
Well, his dad was never faithful. So like that means that it's
he
genetic. Didn't you know cheating is genetic?
it's
So like
genetic. Oh my God.
he can't help it. He
He
can't fight biology.
no, he's just like letting her know, like, hey, like, I mean, you have to understand, like, I'm probably gonna cheat. Shut up. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? He's saying this as if like so when he does cheat, she can't be mad. You can't be mad because I told you. I told
Here's
you.
here's here's what I think about Clay. And there's something about him that for some reason I do find him likable, but he very clearly I don't think has ever had like a real relationship of substance before, because from what he was saying in the pods too, he was like, oh, this is really nerve-wracking, like having to just rely on my personality and not be able to like use my looks and whatever. It's like I feel like he is the type of guy that he just goes around and he just looks nice, dresses nice, uses, and he was saying like, oh, I can't like pay for our meal and whatever. Like he tries to use his money and all of that, all the external things to show off
Yeah.
and impress people, but
Yeah.
it doesn't, it's very shallow.
He is
And
very shallow.
I feel like every relationship he's probably had has just been very like short lived. And like, I don't think he doesn't, it doesn't seem to me like he's ever really been in a serious long term relationship before. And he just seems so immature in a lot of ways, which is like you're 30 years old, like come on. When are you going to fucking grow up? And he also clearly has a lot of insecurities
Yeah.
and he's really emotional, which is fine, but it's just a turn off. Like I don't I think it's great to be in tune with your emotions
But he
and be
wasn't.
have emotional intelligence. But he's emotional, but not in control of it.
That's what I was gonna say. I didn't like how he was like in the pods where he's like kind of lashing out or just like having such a strong immediate response to
Yeah, he gets
something. I forget what it
emotional in
was.
like a childish way at
I
times, and which is
agree.
a huge turn off for me. It's like I don't want to have to deal with this. It's like you
I
feel like you have
agree.
to like take care of this person. Like you
Yeah.
have to play the therapist, play the fucking mother. Like no.
Especially because AD seems so like together. Like she seems like
She's got her shit together. She's confident. She's
yeah.
mature.
Yeah. Why would you even entertain somebody that's like,
Because she said that she's Miss Fix a Hoe or whatever.
well, that okay, that's what she's doing.
I think
But
that's just what she is attracted to, I guess.
she just if that's your type, then what can you do? But like, she deserves way better than that. Sitting there being told like, "Hey, I can't help if I cheat on you," and basically you can't be mad at me because I'm telling you that I can't. I don't know that I can't be like I can't not do it. I if I were her, I would have been done that first time he said it. Like,
Exactly, because it's like you're putting it out there on the table already, so that way then when it happens in the future, you can be like you take no accountability. It's like, well, I told you that this
yeah.
was gonna probably happen, and like I can't control, like I can't help it.
I
Like,
hope
give
she
me a
leaves
fucking
his
break.
ass at the altar. And the way he acted like at lunch with his mom and sister, like he was
Yeah,
trying to start something up, like an argument, and she was like,
I
whoa."
agree. And he just seems very unwilling to compromise, or at least in that conversation he did.
Yeah, I agree too. But
I did think it was
uh
funny the one scene where they were when they were on the honeymoon, the way they edited it when he was slurping his soup and she's just sitting there watching him and then he starts stacking all of the dishes.
yes.
She's just like
She's like, okay.
I
But that reminded
love
me
that.
when they were on the honeymoon and the bean dip thing. It was
No,
like a
I don't.
joke that Laura
Oh,
and
yes, like
AD had.
flip the nipple or flick her
Yeah.
boob or whatever. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then Laura tells Jeremy about it, like, haha, LOL, you should do that to her as a joke, which I feel
Right.
like I would have understood that because who would be
Right.
serious about that?
Right.
Then he goes, I mean, they're all drinking, so maybe that has, a part in it. He
Yeah.
goes to Clay and AD, like, oh, Laura said, like, the bean dip thing, like, I should come up and, like, flip your boob, like,
Yeah, and she got so offended.
and Clay got, like, mad.
Yeah.
That was
I
so
thought that whole
awkward.
thing was so stupid. I was like, "This is so dumb," and the fact that they're even wasting time in this episode for
It
this,
was
like,
bad.
fast forward, this is so like, I cannot even believe this right now. This is so dumb.
I almost felt bad for Jeremy in that moment, although he's dumb and shouldn't have brought it. Like, who says that? Like, was there just a silence you wanted to fill? Like, ha ha ha, she said.
Yeah, which I can relate to. I feel like sometimes I'll just say, like, stupid shit that I probably shouldn't just to, like, fill the silence or you're drinking, and it's like, I don't know.
I
So,
guess.
I can give him grace on that, but
But I stopped feeling bad for Jeremy
yes.
because he's the worst on the show, possibly. Where did it start? First of all, Laura is very, like, she's uptight. I think you could tell in the honeymoon that they were like not a good fit after all. Like in the pool, he's like being playful. She's like, eh.
Yeah, I do not like Laura at all. I feel like she has a huge stick up her ass, and she uptight is an understatement. And I just don't I don't know. At least from how they portray her on the show,
Yeah. You
I
know
don't
what
fuck with
though?
her.
Oh, you didn't watch. I think this was season 3. I might be getting them all mixed up. I don't know if I even watched season 4. So one of the previous seasons, um, Zanab, you don't know. Zanab.
No.
And freaking what's his face? It was kind of a similar dynamic where he's really playful and like she's not. And
Mhm.
it's not even like she's less playful, she's just not like playful in that way. She just doesn't. They don't mesh. They don't have the same humor. It makes you wonder how they even matched in the pods. Like
Yeah.
it gave me that same vibe. People that have watched that season, like, let me know if you agree. But like she just I don't know. And then he gets that message, that DM from Sarah Ann, which Sarah Ann disgusted me in the pods. Like, not a fan of her. Just seeing her in the pods. Like, she's really not like, it starts with an R, but it's not raunchy or anything. She's just like, I find her distasteful. Like, I don't think she, I don't like her. He gets this DM from her saying like, "Oh, whatever, all nice things, all kind of normal and cute at first, and then it's like, if you ever think you're changing your mind, I'm still interested." What the fuck is wrong with you? Just want to
Right.
put that out there that if you wanted to like leave Laura, like I'd still be interested in you.
Mhm.
How desperate are you? He didn't pick you in the pods. Does that not make you think you shouldn't try again? Like, and
Right, and, like,
obviously,
if you wanna reach out, that's like, okay, whatever, like, I guess if you're being respectful and what she had said in the beginning, like, "Oh, thank you for the opportunity. It was really nice to, like, have the chance to get to know you, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah."
yeah, nice.
Cool, leave it at that. He now has your contact, he has a way to reach out to you. So if things don't work out and he does wanna reach out, whether or not you should, get with him and give him the opportunity after he chose somebody else is a whole different story, but, like, let him reach out to you if that's the case. Like,
Right,
you sound so desperate, and that's also so disrespectful because if things are working out well with the
right.
woman he chose, the woman that you also, like, were spending all the time, hanging around. Like, I don't know, I don't remember if they showed if like they got close or were friendly at all
I mean, I think
behind the
they
scenes. But I feel like
like
all the
a
women seemed like they were
yeah, kind of. Like
like, I
at
don't
the
know, that just
end
seems
when Jeremy ends up picking or he breaks up with Sarah Ann. And so Sarah Ann goes back and she's like, "It's you," like he picks you. And they have like a decent conversation. She's like, Laura says, "Oh, you'll find your person." I think Sarah Ann's
right.
like
It's just like it's
happy
a
for
lack of
her.
respect.
It's disgusting. She's a disgusting human. She obviously has no respect, self-respect. Like she's like, "Hey Jeremy, if you still want me, I'm here." Like, ew. First of all, ew. But it seems that he did want her
Right.
because he goes out one night. This blew my mind. Me and my boyfriend were watching it, and at first he was like, "This show, like, I'm only watching this because you have it on." By the end, by this moment in this episode, he was like, "What the fuck
That's
is
how it
going
always
on?"
goes.
I know, he was like, "What is this?" Jeremy comes home 6 a.m. That to me, with no explanation, is enough for a fight. Then he says
Mhm.
he's at this club. Oh, they changed it to this club. Whatever. This whole story. Then he's like, well, she says you were out till 6 in the morning. They closed at whatever. What were you doing for these
Mhm.
hours? I
Mhm.
was in the parking lot. First of all, does being in a parking lot until 6 a.m. with some girl, because he says at that point Sarah Ann was there and they were talking. Does that look good? No.
Mm-mm.
But so this episode airs and stuff, and people on like TikTok and online are like, this bar, this club, Lost and Found in
Mhm.
Charlotte, does not have a parking lot. There is no
That's
parking
funny.
lot.
That's funny.
And so
Well,
in
but
the
because I remember
episode,
her saying, yeah, that she saw his location and she was like, "You were on this side of town where Sarah Ann lives."
yeah, but only after she let him lie multiple times. She said, "Where are
Mhm.
you?" He says, "The parking lot." Then she's like, "Hmm." And he goes, "There's an alley behind, and I was here." And she goes, "Hmm, it's 5 a.m. Like, I'm not, like, I have your location, but like, whatever." He continues to lie, and she goes, "You weren't there where you're saying you were, where you doubled down and said you were. You were where Sarah Ann lives.
Yeah.
Don't give me your location if you don't want me to look." Or like whatever she said.
I will say she
I
annoys the shit out of me, like, every scene basically with not every, but most of the scenes with her, especially after they get out of the pods, annoyed the shit out of me. I find her annoying. However, that scene, I was like, "Yes, bitch. A
that was
queen. Bow down to the
so
queen." Like, the way she handled that was really good.
it was so smart because I think right out of the gate, of course, you want to be like, "You were where she lives," and come at him like that. No, no. To let him lie and to let
Right.
him think that you have no like
Especially because then
genius.
he can't, like, have a comeback for what you say if you just start right off the rip. Like, he already now dug himself so deep
He
that now
can't get out.
he can't say anything. That was
He
pretty amazing. So, do you think, I mean, he obviously, like, spent the night there. Do you think that they
yeah.
hooked up?
Yeah, because Sarah Ann is Sarah Ann.
Yeah,
Like, yeah. And
that's crazy.
like she's all up on TikTok. And I understand attention is attention. If it's good attention, if it's bad attention, it's like press.
Yeah,
She obviously wants the attention. She's obviously
yeah.
desperate for the attention. Like everyone
Yeah,
can
she
see
wants
that.
her 15 minutes.
Yeah. So she's on
Yeah.
TikTok. She's like, you know, they go through his house, which people are saying was an Airbnb because what like or maybe he just moved in or whatever, but you go
Because it
through his
was
house with
so immaculate and
His
untouched.
kitchen? Like, who has 4 white mugs? Like, plain white mugs. What the hell is that? Anyway, so we know what his house looks like. And then we see Sarah Ann on TikTok, like, in his house.
I did hear about that. I didn't see it myself, but
And she's just being such a little smug little fucking, like, ooh, keep talking, blah, 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 blah. You're disgusting. I hope you two are happy together because you deserve each other. Like, you're gross. I don't
yeah,
care if it
it's
was
just
for TV. It's even if it
right,
was all like if everyone was in on it, that's still whack and disgusting because you would be willing to go that low where you make yourself look the way you look
right,
for your 15 minutes of D minus class fame. Like you're not famous. This is not fame.
right. It's just some social media attention.
One last thing about Laura. She has her family over
Mhm.
and she's like, "So let me tell you about how Jeremy got this DM." She brings it up and then she said, "Oh, I'm over it. I'm over it." She's obviously not over it. And then she's talking to like her sister-in-law about Jeremy and like, oh, he wears these Hawaiian shirts and her sister-in-law's like, "Well, that's, part of who he is. Like that's cool. Like that's whatever. I like that about somebody when they have like these little." And Laura's just such like a,
Yeah.
"Wow, no.
That was
Ew."
because I didn't really, like, feel any type of way about her up until that point. I was just like, "Eh, whatever, like, she's just there." But that scene, I was like, "Oh my god, this bitch is unbearable." Like, again, why are they wasting time in the episode for this? Who fucking cares? Is this for real? Like, this cannot
Uh,
be a real conversation and a real concern. Like, shut
I
up.
agree.
Ugh, I cannot.
And her
Everything,
parents are
every
just
scene with her is just annoying to me.
I know. And her parents are just like,
Her family seems great. I really liked her family. Like, I
yeah,
don't know
me
how she
too.
turned out the way she is, but
I
every scene,
really
every
don't
time
know.
she is on the screen, I'm just like, "Go away. Give us more Chelsea and Jess." That is what I'm here for.
Well, now that you bring that up, where to even begin? I think I mentioned this in our last episode. I don't like Jess. That doesn't mean I like Chelsea either. I don't like Jess for a few reasons. But like, she knows she's seen as beautiful, and she obviously thinks that that would be enough to like get Jimmy, which you might say like, yeah, it probably is. But I think he made his decision between the two since they were in this weird triangle. Obviously wasn't into the fact that she had a daughter. I mean, if that's not the lifestyle you're looking for, like I think that's fair enough and to be able to be like, "You know what? I like this girl. She says she's so beautiful or whatever, or like we have this, but this is not the kind of life I'm looking to live, at least right now." I have to give him a little bit of props for that because that's an important thing. Like, he didn't feel like he was ready to be a stepfather. And I feel as though that was like a main factor of why he chose Chelsea over Jess.
Which is very fair.
It's fair. I also think he chose Chelsea over Jess because Jess obviously is not afraid to like tell him how it is. She's not afraid of confrontation. She's like,
Mhm,
and I don't think that he liked that. I think he even said like that's not what I
mhm.
I forget what he said exactly. That's not what he's used to or that's not what he's comfortable with or something. I forget.
Yeah, yeah,
But
something like that.
those are two things that being beautiful does not make up for. So as much as you
Right.
think you're hot shit, which she does because at the end of one of the last episodes she's like, well, first of all, she tells him he's going to choke when he sees her. So
Uh-huh.
there's that.
Which that was a pretty iconic line. I did like that. The whole, like, "You're gonna need your EpiPen," like,
Like I
that
guess like it's a
was
breakup, like
that was
you're
good.
missing
I
out.
like I liked that. But
Right.
yes, yeah, when in the Like the most recent episode, or
Yeah, where
you know,
she's like,
recent
she
for us, yeah.
knows that she is not, she knows they're
And she was
not
like, "Am I
together.
wrong? Am I wrong? I'm just being on it," like to the camera.
Yeah, like, shut the fuck up. Like,
You think like she
like,
thinks that when he sees her, he's not going to be able to resist, and he's just gonna
it's like
change his
dangling. What does she
mind.
say? It's like
Oh,
dangling temptation. Like, give it a
yes.
rest. You might look like a
She
Kardashian, according to Jeremy, who showed Jimmy your Instagram. But let's not forget why he did not pick you.
Yes, and
Like,
also, I feel like I am all for being confident and, like, knowing your worth and being a bad bitch and da da da, and that is great, but she really teeters on the line of being like a little bit too cocky and self-centered. Like she
I agree.
really thinks, and you know what? It'd be one thing if like you are really uniquely, and I'm not saying that she's not pretty. Yes, of course she is. She's beautiful, whatever. But like if you're this like uniquely, naturally beautiful, that's one thing. I mean, you bragging about it and like knowing how gorgeous you are makes you unattractive in my opinion. But like that'd be one
Agree.
thing. She is just this like cookie cutter, conventional, like fillered up, heavy makeup all the time. Like, yeah, you're pretty, but you look like every other bitch on Instagram.
Exactly.
So,
Like, it's nothing to brag about, in my opinion. If you, like,
exactly.
could find a little, like, maybe get a little humbled, like, realize that that's not all anybody wants. You went on a show called Love is Blind,
Right.
and you're gonna act like this. It's embarrassing. Like, it's honestly embarrassing for her. And
Yeah.
she's like still talking about Jimmy as if she can just go in there and grab him. I don't know, of course, if that's what happens or
Well,
whatever.
she also is like obsessed with this man, and it's like, okay, I can, okay, sure, you had a connection in the pods, but like that's not real life. You have
No.
not met this man in person. You
Exactly.
only talked to him over the span of like a week or two,
It's very,
maybe,
yeah.
like a
And it's
very short
like,
amount of time. It's like under certain circumstances, it's like you, for her to give him that letter to my dear my future husband or whatever, like, are you fucking serious? Like
you could
that's
have at
just such
least,
sweet. Save that until like your actual fucking wedding day when you're literally about to marry the person. Like you're giving this to
right.
a stranger that you've never actually met, that you
Scene.
haven't seen, that you have only been speaking to through a wall for a couple days. Like,
But you're like, oh, this is my husband. Well, guess
what
what? It was.
is wrong with you? And he's never even met your kid yet. Like, wouldn't you, before you make this big decision, wouldn't you want him to meet your daughter and like make sure that that all feels right? And
That was one of the biggest things to me because I saw some people being like, what kind of mother goes away for like X amount of weeks or months? Okay, I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like I can't, like, speak on that. You are going to bring home a husband
right,
to your daughter
a stepfather.
who, yeah, a stepfather to your daughter who they've never met, and you have no idea how he's going to act towards her. He could be a
Not
total
only
creep.
that,
He could be horrible to her.
exactly, you don't know this fucking person and you're gonna
He could be a
bring him into your
predator.
home, right, with your underage daughter. Yeah, yeah,
No, no.
right.
That is just not something you could say what you want about leaving for X amount of time, whatever. That is
Right.
like not okay.
It's
So,
interesting to me too how everybody's like ripping on Chelsea for the whole like Megan Fox thing.
Chelsea does look like Megan Fox a little bit. Like if I saw her in real life in public, I'd probably be like, "Oh my gosh, you look kind of like Megan Fox." That's a very
I
normal
thank
thing to
you.
say.
Thank you. Okay, I thought the same thing. And like no, is she like
Her
obviously
twin sister?
right? But I
No,
can see the similarities. Like I really can. I feel like they could be related. And if Chelsea had Megan Fox money, she would look like Megan Fox.
I agree completely.
Because
I'm
let's
sick
not
of
ignore that Megan Fox has had some work done.
Right, but it's like, I'm sick of people being like, "Oh my gosh, she said she looks like my" she does.
I feel like it's something with, like, the eyes and her mouth.
It's her eyes for sure, like,
And the
her
mouth, like,
brow
she has, like,
to
a very, like, frowny, like, her lips kinda, like, turn
yeah,
down a little, just like Megan Fox. I
yeah.
see it, I totally see it.
My only beef with this whole thing is how she was, like, MGK's girlfriend?
Yeah, that whole part really that was the part that was kind of frustrating to me or and annoying, 'cause if it had innocently just come up naturally in conversation, I'd be like, "Okay, what why is everyone being so hard on her?" But she very clearly was baiting him with that because
She asked.
she asked, and what's so funny is she asks him, "Have you ever been told you look like a celebrity?" Does not give him an opportunity to answer. Isn't actually asking him because she wants to know. It was literally just
No.
for her to open up so that she could then lead with,
Yeah.
yeah, there's, like, one that I get all the time, and then she's, like, being so weird about it, and he's like, "Ooh, tell me," and she doesn't wanna say, and she's like, "Well, I just don't see it. I mean, I think it's just 'cause, like, we have light eyes and dark hair." And then she's playing dumb.
Yeah.
It's MGK's, is it his girlfriend or his wife? I don't
So
know.
bad. If
You
you're not
know,
gonna know one of
first of
those
all,
people
everyone knows who Megan Fox is. Like, who even
exactly.
cares or gives a fuck about MGK? You know who Megan Fox is. Everyone does. And not
Exactly.
only that, but you're getting told you look like her and you're being compared to her. Supposedly, that's your celebrity look like. You know her name.
No one's coming up to you like, "You look like MGK's girlfriend." Like, come
Right.
on.
Right. Right.
That's
Like,
so that part was bad. I was like, "Let's get real." Like and
yeah.
again, on a show that's not about looks, you wanna say you look like Megan Fox to this guy?
Yeah. I really feel like she knew what she was doing with that.
She is painfully insecure. Like,
Mhm.
to the point of like, I'm insecure, but, like, the amount of reassurance she needs, I think you should if you need it, you should be able to get it in your relationship.
Yeah.
She starts the dumbest shit, "But you were talking to AD, and you were talking about her body, and then you didn't come over, you didn't kiss me, you didn't say I love you today, you didn't"
I know.
What? Is he
She
fully
also
neglecting you? Like, completely
her
ignoring you like Ken?
right, right. Her insecurity though also to me, like, it in ways she acts like a pick me
Oh, yes.
because
Oh, yeah.
like, yeah. But I agree. And I mean, in some ways I can kind of relate to feeling a little insecure because, like, yeah, I mean, if he's standing there and he's like, "Damn, she's stacked," and he's talking about another girl's ass as you're meanwhile, you have your back literally just goes from back to butt,
Yeah,
chin and
I know.
legs. Again, no shade to her, she's beautiful, she's cute, whatever. Um, but, like, he's looking at this girl, he's checking her out, and he's like, "Damn," talking about her body when her body is so
Different.
different from yours. Of
Yeah.
course, yes, you're gonna feel insecure, especially then when it's not like then he stands there and you guys are just like, again, it could have been edited, I don't know. But then he goes over and he starts talking to the other girl about her ass, to which she's like, yeah, I'm used to it, which is hilarious to
Right.
me.
Like, I feel like
Um,
AD handled it so well because
she
she's just
she
like,
did.
"Okay."
And then he's like holding her hand and he's like kind of spinning her around and checking her out. And then they're just talking and it seemed a little flirty, kind of. And then she's just over there awkwardly at the bar by herself. Like, I didn't really blame her in that moment for being upset because, like, I would probably have felt kind of insecure and been upset too, especially
For
when
and
it's
not
like
like, in
you
that
guys were just meeting, like he just saw you in person for the first
yeah.
time, like the day before or whatever. This is like the first time that everyone is meeting face to face. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, he's clearly like more attracted to that girl over there
In
because
that
he's not making comments to
instance,
me about my body.
he never said I was stacked.
Exactly. Right.
But now that you mention that moment, this reminded me of something I don't like about Chelsea. Like, I don't know what this is. I know people that are like this and I don't understand it. She he says, "Oh, AD stacked." She calls out to AD and goes, "Oh my god, AD, Jimmy just said you're stacked." Why
Clearly an
did you
insecure
do
it's an
that?
insecurity thing. It's an insecure thing because she's trying to act like, oh yeah, yeah, she does have a big ass. Oh yeah, look, I'm cool with it. Like, look at us. We're both talking about how good your body
Yeah.
looks, like, and
And
how
then
good your butt
Jimmy
looks. And then
Jimmy seems
what killed me though was when she's like, AD, how you get a butt like that? Like, she's black. What do you mean, how did she get a butt like? And then yes, she clearly lifts and works out, whatever. But it's like,
right, like, well,
you think she's going to give you an answer and then you're going to have the magic secret to go get the same body type as her? Like, no, you are just
you have very different
two
body
completely different
types, yeah.
ethnicities, races, like, yes, like different natural body shapes.
Yes. Uh, Jimmy seemed embarrassed, like he didn't maybe want AD to know he said she was stacked.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, the insecurity, whatever, like, but that's not the first time she, or the only time she does that. She calls him out in front of, I don't remember if it was in front of her friends, if she did it then. I feel like she did, but in front of his friends, which we'll get to, two girlfriends, she's calling him out in front of them, like literally trying to embarrass him, it seems like. Like, what is that? Why are you doing that? To
Mm-hmm.
seem cool, to seem like it makes no sense to me. It's very weird. If it were happening, it has happened to me, and it's
I was
annoyed
going to
me and
say,
made me,
I feel like I know people or have been around people that do that. And I think it's an insecurity thing. It's like,
it has to be.
and it's like an awkward, like, she just is very insecure and very awkward.
It has to be that because what the fuck?
And I think she
Like,
wants to come off as like she's secure and she's just like, oh
yeah.
haha, like, I can laugh along with you. Like, I'm cool. I'm
Girl, no, you can't. You can't. And it's fine. Like, go to therapy or something. But like, it's interesting for me as like, I consider myself as insecure. Maybe not anymore. Like that I'm seeing these people, I'm like, what are you doing? If I were him, and I feel like at first when I was seeing clips of it, I was like, damn, he's like not, you know, I don't know what I thought about him. I thought it was him. Then when you watch the whole thing, he's handling it like pretty well, I think.
I
Where
agree. In the
he's
beginning, I was like, oh fuck Jimmy. I don't, I didn't think I was gonna like him. I thought he was gonna be the
right.
problem and the asshole, but once they're out of the pods, I agree. He is handling it pretty well. And he seems like he's very communicative and
Yeah.
pretty mature, and I actually kind of like him.
I I think with what he's dealing with Chelsea and how she acts sometimes, he's doing pretty well. There might be things I'm missing. I am thinking about the time where she's crying at the kitchen island and he's like, if you want to talk about sex, I wanted a break from that. That made me wonder, like, what that was about.
She's just a lot. And honestly, it seems like she in the pods was trying to come off a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they're out, she, especially, it's like, you can't be like, yeah, people tell me all the time I look like Megan Fox. Like, you knew what you were doing there. And then
Absolutely.
when you come out and he sees you, and it's like,
Not Megan
eh,
Fox.
I think that she was just feeling like insecure and a little nervous. And he, it granted, it could just be that it's like it's an awkward, weird moment. You have all these cameras and lights on you, whatever. But like,
Yeah.
he seemed a little like the disappointment seemed obvious when they met face to face. And I'm sure
The
she picked
thing
up on that. And I think
right.
that she probably is just so, because she's like, oh my God, I can't believe I got this guy. And she clearly is very attracted to him. So I feel like she's just like up his ass, like super clingy, super touchy feely. He's probably like, okay, you
Ah,
are a lot for me. And I still need to process because, like, I don't know you. And you're
yeah,
also not what I really was expecting. And you're just like,
right.
the pod you were acting really like cool and now you're acting really
Nah,
uncool, like like I don't blame him for being like, I don't, can we not, like, I don't really want to have sex with you constantly every day,
right.
like,
But if
can
it
you
if
not touch me for a second, like I feel like she's so like when she does her little run and her jump and her, I'm like,
like
that is so cringe.
when I think about like
It gives me the
myself, if I
ick.
were yeah, oh yeah. But if I were putting myself in that situation, like if I'm Jimmy,
Yeah,
I would probably be the same way. And it's like I think
yeah,
it's more a personality thing than it is like an attraction or I mean, she would have put me off in a few different ways.
yeah,
Mostly personality related. But like I'm not the type of person that's like touch is not my love language. Like I accept it. Like my partner's love language is like kind of physical touch. Like okay, but there's times for me where I'm like a little overstimulated by that or like I'm a little like I can't explain it, but I don't want that right now. Like I can't.
yeah, it
So
makes
if that's
sense.
him, then like not everybody's like that. It's just it's not anything about either person. People are different. But
Yeah.
she just takes it seems she takes everything very personally because she is very insecure.
Yes. Her being like,
And
you didn't say I love you to me. You didn't kiss me or say I love you to me once today. Like,
you guys have
girl,
known each other for like a
the fact that
month
you're saying I love you to each other at all, period, is fucking weird to me.
just with her friends, with his friends. She it seems she puts on, like you said, like this show, this front of what she wants
Yeah.
to be seen as. And it's a lot. But if we could just go back to when she meets his friends,
Hmm.
his two girlfriends of 2 years.
Where they were when they met, by the way, I have been there. Queen Park Social. I was like,
What?
oh, yeah, I thought that was interesting. I don't think there's anything wrong with having friends of the opposite sex. I mean, I have a few guy friends that are I consider close friends of mine. But like I don't think if I was if I was date engaged to someone, but like if I was dating someone and I was like, "Oh, I want you to meet my friends." I wouldn't just be like, "Here are my two guy friends." It'd be like a group,
Right.
like maybe, the guy friends would be there too, but like that was
Maybe it was
weird to
like
me. Does he not have any other friends? Does he not like
that's what I wondered. And then I was like, I
And
was
the
on
way they were
Instagram.
talking, like the one girl, the way she was talking, it sounded like they had history.
She says something about how he never turns down sex, right? Is that what it was?
I think so. Yeah, how would she know that?
How would she know that? And I don't like my girlfriends. Yeah. Like we'll
Right.
talk about that kind of stuff. But like guy friends, I feel like it's harder to get on that level. Maybe it's just me, but like that comfortability where you just like are talking about like sex and you're like, yeah, yeah, I never turn down.
If I was meeting a
At
girl that he's dating, I wouldn't be like, yeah,
right.
you know how he is. He just loves, like, no,
That's
that's
uncomfortable.
so
And then also
weird.
how he did just turn down sex. Like he just did that.
Exactly. Right. Like,
So
way to
that's
make her even feel
extra.
even more insecure. I will say, I really did not like him at all in the beginning. And I don't know why. I don't like people named Jimmy. And then I remember we talked about that in the episode last week. And then I realized, you know why I don't like people named Jimmy? Because Jimmy is a nickname for James. And
You're right.
we hate men named James.
Yes, we do. They are stupid. Well, that might be all I have to say about season 6. For now, of course. We hope you guys enjoy this episode. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube. Is there anything I'm missing?
No, I think that is it.
We will see you guys next week.
Yeah, we'll be back next week with a new episode.
TTYL.
Bye.